Most of us hate the sound of the alarm clock. That harsh noise cuts through the peace of sleep and demands that we face the cold reality of a new day. You probably know that feeling of wanting just 5 more minutes to stay buried under the warm blankets. You might think this struggle is modern, something only we face in our busy, high-stress world. But you would be wrong. 2,000 years ago, the most powerful man in the world felt exactly the same way. He was Marcus Aurelius, the Emperor of Rome. He didn't have a boss to fire him if he slept in. He didn't have a train to catch. He could have slept until noon every single day, while servants waited on him hand and foot. Yet, he didn't. He fought that battle with his heavy eyelids and his comfortable bed every morning. We know this because he wrote about it in his personal diary, which we now know as the book Meditations. He didn't wake up early to hustle, or to grind, or to make more money. He woke up early to find stillness before the chaos of the empire crashed down on him. He had a specific routine, a set of mental and physical exercises that transformed him from a groggy man into a philosopher king capable of ruling the world with wisdom. Today, we are going to break down this ancient routine. This isn't just about waking up early. It is about how you start your day so you can be bulletproof against stress, anxiety, and the negativity of other people. We are going to look at the exact steps Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and other Stoics took to win the morning, and how you can use them to change your life completely. The Battle of the Bed. The routine begins before your feet even hit the floor. It starts with the argument you have in your head when you wake up. Marcus Aurelius wrote a specific conversation he had with himself in Book 5 of Meditations. He talks about how hard it is to leave the warmth of the sheets. He asks himself why he is complaining if he is going to do the work he was born to do. He challenges himself. He asks if he was made just to lie under the blankets and keep warm. He admits that staying in bed feels nicer, but then he hits himself with a hard truth. He asks if he was born for pleasure or for action. He looks at nature for inspiration. He writes about the plants, the birds, the ants, the spiders, and the bees. They are all doing their individual tasks to put the world in order as best they can. He asks himself why he is unwilling to do his job as a human being. This is the first step of the routine. You must find a purpose that is bigger than your comfort. When the alarm goes off, do not think about how tired you are. Think about your nature. You have a role to play in this world. The Stoics believed that everything in the universe has a purpose, including you. When you stay in bed because it is easy, you are betraying that purpose. You are choosing comfort over your potential. So, the first practical step is a mindset shift. When you wake up, tell yourself that you are rising to do the work of a human being. It sounds simple, but it changes the dynamic. You are not waking up to answer emails or sit in traffic. You are waking up to fulfill your potential. Retreat into your inner citadel. Once Marcus was up, he didn't immediately rush into the noise of the palace. He didn't start shouting orders or asking for the news of the empire. He took time to retreat into what he called his inner citadel. This is a fortress inside your mind that no one else can touch. In the modern world, the first thing most people do is grab their phone. They flood their brains with other people's problems, bad news, and social media notifications. This is the opposite of the Stoic routine. You are giving up control of your mind before you have even brushed your teeth. Marcus Aurelius believed that the quality of your life is determined by the quality of your thoughts. If you let the world dictate your first thoughts of the day, you have already lost. Instead, spend the first quiet moments in silence. This isn't necessarily formal meditation, but a time to observe your own mind. You need to steady your thoughts before the day shakes them up. Think of it like putting on armor. You wouldn't walk into a battlefield without a shield. Yet, most people walk into their stressful days with no mental protection. This quiet time is where you forge that shield. You remind yourself that you can control your own mind, even if you cannot control what happens outside of it. The practice of negative visualization. Now comes the part of the routine that might sound strange to modern ears, but it is the most powerful tool in the Stoic arsenal. It is called premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils. Most self-help gurus tell you to visualize success. They tell you to imagine everything going perfectly. The Stoics said the exact opposite. They said you should imagine things going wrong. Marcus Aurelius has a famous passage in Book 2 of Meditations. He says that when you wake up in the morning, you should tell yourself, "The people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and surly." This sounds pessimistic, but it is actually a genius way to protect your peace. Marcus knew that he would inevitably deal with difficult people. He was the emperor. Everyone wanted something from him. If he expected everyone to be nice and helpful, he would be shocked and angry when they were rude. But by expecting it, he was prepared. When you start your day, take a few minutes to think about what could go wrong. The traffic might be bad. Your coffee might spill. Your boss might be in a bad mood. A client might cancel. If you have already visualized these things, they won't catch you off guard. You won't react with anger or panic because you have already seen it happening in your mind. You are effectively removing the power of surprise. When the rude coworker makes a snide comment, you can smile and think to yourself, "Ah, I expected you." This keeps you calm while everyone else is losing their temper. It is not about being negative. It is about being ready. Journaling for clarity. After preparing his mind for the difficulties of the day, Marcus often turned to his journal. It is important to remember that Meditations wasn't written for us. It was written for himself. He was writing to keep himself on track. The Stoic morning journal isn't a diary where you just complain about your feelings. It is a tool for self-coaching. You write down the principles you want to live by. You write down the struggles you are currently facing and how you plan to handle them with virtue. You might write down a question like, "What is the worst that can happen today, and how will I handle it?" Or, "What virtue do I need to practice today?" Maybe you know you have a stressful meeting coming up, so you write down that you need to practice patience and silence. Writing these things down makes them real. It moves the thoughts from the chaos of your head onto the solid ground of the paper. It clears the fog. Seneca, another great Stoic, also talked about the importance of examining your days. By writing in the morning, you set a plan. You give yourself a roadmap. You aren't just reacting to life. You are deciding how you will act. The view from above. Another exercise that fits perfectly into this early morning solitude is what Stoics call the view from above. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about looking at things from a cosmic perspective. When we are stuck in our daily routine, our problems feel massive. A missed deadline feels like the end of the world. A rude comment feels like a deep betrayal. But in the quiet of the morning, the Stoic practices zooming out. Imagine looking at yourself from the ceiling. Then imagine zooming out to see your whole house, then your city, then your country, and finally the whole earth floating in space. From that distance, your problems look very small. You realize that you are just a tiny part of a much larger whole. This doesn't mean your life doesn't matter. It means your anxieties don't matter as much as you think they do. This perspective is liberating. It lifts the weight off your shoulders. You realize that the traffic jam is not a tragedy. It is just a tiny blip in the history of the universe. This allows you to start your day with a sense of lightness and detachment. You are part of something bigger, and you have a role to play, but you don't need to carry the weight of the world on your back. Focus on the essential. Once the mental preparation is done, it is time to work. But not just any work. The Stoics were obsessed with time. Seneca wrote extensively about how we waste so much of our lives on things that don't matter. He said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." The Stoic morning routine requires you to identify what is actually essential. Marcus Aurelius told himself to do every act of his life as if it were the last. This doesn't mean you should panic. It means you should cut out the fluff. Ask yourself in the morning, if I could only do one thing today, what would make the biggest difference? Do that thing first. Don't waste your morning energy on trivial tasks like checking social media or responding to unimportant emails. Use your fresh energy for the task that actually moves the needle. Marcus reminded himself to stop drifting. He told himself to stop letting his mind be pulled in 1,000 directions. By focusing on the present moment and the task at hand, you reduce stress. Stress often comes from worrying about the future or regretting the past. But if you are fully focused on what you are doing right now, there is no room for anxiety. Treating others with sympathia. Finally, the Stoic morning routine ends with a preparation for connection. The Stoics believed in a concept called sympathia, the idea that all human beings are connected. We are all part of the same organism. Marcus wrote that we were born to work together like feet, hands, and eyes. To work against one another is unnatural. Even though he prepared himself for rude people, he didn't prepare himself to hate them. He prepared himself to forgive them and to work with them. As you finish your morning routine, remind yourself that everyone you meet is fighting their own battle. They are driven by their own fears and desires. Your job is not to judge them, but to be a force for good. You can choose to be kind even when others are not. You can choose to be patient even when others are rushing. This is the ultimate proof of your Stoic training. Conclusion. The 5 AM Stoic routine is not just a list of habits, it is a philosophy of life. It acknowledges that the world is difficult and unpredictable. It accepts that waking up is hard and that people can be annoying. But it gives you a way to navigate all of that with grace and strength. By winning the battle of the bed, retreating into your inner citadel, practicing negative visualization, journaling your intentions, taking the view from above, and focusing on the essential, you build an unshakable foundation. You stop being a victim of your circumstances and start being the master of your own mind. You don't have to be a Roman emperor to do this. You just have to be willing to wake up and do the work. Thank you for spending your time with me today. If you found value in this script, please subscribe to the channel so we can continue this journey of wisdom together. Share this video with a friend who needs a better morning routine. I have a question for you to answer in the comments below. What is the one thing that stops you from waking up early? And which Stoic technique from this video will you use to overcome it? I read every comment, and I am curious to see your answers. See you in the next video.